watching Pucknology After Dark. Oh my.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Um, oh my is probably what you could describe of this game, and we will definitely get into it in this edition of Pucknology After Dark. As you know, as always, I am Eric, otherwise known as Buckeye14. To be part of the show, use the hashtag Pucknology After Dark to ask questions or comment about the show. You can tweet us as well. You can also join us in the YouTube chat and let your voice be heard there. All right. That being said, we will be getting right into it with my constituents AJ Strong
What's up, people?
and Chris JWS. All right.
I was going to be here. Peter DeBoer challenged me, and then I'm still here anyways.
That's okay. I was almost disallowed onto this program tonight multiple times. Number of things to get to tonight in this insanely crazy game in the desert. I think it's best to get all of our frustrations out. I'll let AJ go right off the bat with the rant about tonight.
No. This time it's on Chris, man. He's got it locked and loaded, man. Go for it, dude.
I've already sharpened my knives here.
You know it's crazy when
Yep,
AJ
I've already
defers to
sharpened
Chris.
my knives.
Chris, the floor is yours. Go for it.
I looked up the rule for that stupid kicking good goal. I had a friend who was in the replay goal, and then not call a single penalty this game after about the mid-first period until like, oh, hey, we're going to call this one the last minute right after the Coyotes score. How convenient, you know. Never mind the time Ward got hooked. Never mind any of these other penalties they ignored because swallowing the whistle, favorable to Coyotes. Sharks weren't committing many penalties. Coyotes were. What the actual fuck? It's the deadly combination of Mike Smith and shitty referees. God, I wanted to let the Sharks completely off the hook on this one, but they deserve to win this one. The wrong team won 3-1. The Sharks should have won 3-1. We move on to another day.
Yeah. It's so funny. Chris goes into rant mode right when his Eric AOL connection kicks in for a brief time.
Of course.
Yeah.
That sucks.
No, I'm right there with you. The first goal that got waived, fine, sure, offside.
Yep.
We've seen it called before, no problem. The second one, that kicking motion, you're going to see that 9 times out of 10, hell, 99 times out of 100, that's going to be called a goal. It's lame. But on the other side of it, let's talk about whatever the hell Pete DeBoer is smoking with that challenge that he had early in the game on the offside. As soon as I saw the first replay, you could tell that, yeah, that's going to be a good goal. I don't even, like, what the hell are the video review guys looking at on the Sharks bench that it's like, yeah, we don't want to challenge this. But as Chris said, Mike Smith, like 940 save percentage coming into this game versus the Sharks. The dudes just owned them in Arizona. But I know Chris is going to rally back because I'm going to prop up Ian's soapbox for a minute about the Sharks. No problems with the best team in the league, Washington. No problems with the leader in Atlantic, Boston. And then you get a team that's been out of it for the last 2 months, and what should have been an easy win. If you would have asked any Shark fan, okay, here are the 4 games that you have: New Jersey, Washington, Boston, and Arizona. You're going to win 2 and you're going to lose 2. Who are the teams you think you're going to win? And 9 out of 10 people are going to say New Jersey and Arizona. So
Are we really going with there's any easy wins in the NHL?
I'm not saying that it's an easy win, but I'm saying, your chances
That's
are
literally what you just said,
better.
actually.
No, I'm saying your chances are probably better playing a team that's not in the playoffs versus a team that has a record that's the best in the entire league. Like, chances are you're probably going to have an easier time with Arizona, like maybe not as much talent. Who knows what it is, but we're just talking chances, likely opportunity. Either way, they blow a chance to leapfrog Anaheim tonight. I haven't seen the latest update, but the last time I saw New York was beating LA 2-1 in the third. I don't know if that's gone final yet, but if New York does beat LA tonight, I mean, just huge opportunity wasted tonight. So, and then lastly, if you had Zubris or Tierney in the pick the Sharks player who scores first, then, I feel for you. And then Hurdle gets that the first tally that they actually count, and then of course he goes and boneheads it at the end. But then again, did he actually bonehead it, Eric?
Boneheaded?
Yeah. What the hell was Hurdle thinking at the end, or was that fine what he did?
It was very borderline. I thought it was also more so. He was trying to kind of put him in the boards. I'm not going to call it a dive per se, because it was a very dangerous, violent shove, and it looked more so. If there wasn't a dramatic fall, I'm not sure that gets called. And what's interesting about this is we looked this up on the box score. There was no penalties until that Hurdle play from like the halfway point of the game when Zubers got called for high sticking. And after that, there was just nothing except for that one penalty. It just was the straw that broke the camel's back. It buried them. A lot of the official calls tonight, as we'll divulge further onward to, really affected the Sharks' gameplay. And that's one thing that this team has consistently struggled with in their history, is when a bad call or a bad play goes against them, they struggle to get out of that rut. And we thought
their
they
best
did.
stretch of play was immediately following 2 overturned goals.
Well, sure, they got that tying goal against Hurdle. However, when the adversity hits, they allow the Coyotes goal with a minute and a half left. Hurdle goes in. You still have to be careful with everything, because it seems like everything was going against San Jose. And sure enough, the second that something bad went down for San Jose, boom, the arm went up, and then it's game over. I mean, when that happens, the wheels fall off, game over, set match, good night, drive home safely, go back to spring training. It's ridiculous, and frankly, with that one goal, let alone two, because like AJ said, sure, the Zubris one, you've seen it called, no goal. Although I've been very iffy on some of these offside calls now lately, how they have the possession of the puck, but they don't literally have the possession of the puck when they are over the line. But that goal now cost us at least 1 point. If it comes, it now means that if there's a 1 or 2 point difference when Anaheim plays Washington on April 10th, that no goal call comes in huge.
I bet you they just had the GM meetings and everything. It would not surprise me in the least if the offside challenge goes away next season, because it really hasn't panned out either way, and especially when you're a Sharks fan and you got Petey DeBoer at the helm, just making that ridiculous challenge at the beginning, and so of course then the one you do challenge, Doan's at the end, you don't have the challenge in your pocket anymore, and
Exactly.
this is the second damn time Jones, and yeah, I mean Jones for the most part played a good game. But this is the second time this season Jones has let one squeak in from behind the goal line. I don't know, and on the same side, on his left side. But, yeah, DeBoer, dude, just knock it off, man, especially that early in the game. Knock it off. Just stop it.
No, exactly. It's. I know he's trying to do a timeout. He's trying to kind of calm the momentum down the first goal, and he's done this all season. And there was one time that I took, I ranted on Twitter. It's like, here we go. He's like the frickin' Tony Dungy of NHL coaches challenges, and he got one right. And I want to say he got like what, one right. I don't know what his success rate is, but if it's changing momentum, I get that's what he's doing. But now tonight's game shows why you don't challenge an iffy call in the first period of a game.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
I think he won his first challenge, and then since then he's like batting like less than 100. Yeah. I don't know. I'd also like to know. I don't know. Has anybody seen any updates on Nieto or Vlasic yet? Obviously, you want to see that because if Vlasic goes down for any extended period of time, holy crap, we all remember what happened back in the day.
And we all remember 2 years ago where it was when he got ridden hard by Jarrett Stoll, who made a dramatic recovery from the year before, from his absolute travesty of injury. If they lose Vlasic, I mean, yes, DeMello. I think we have more confidence in Dylan DeMello now than we have before when he got called up. But
well, absolutely more confidence in DeMello, and I think I kind of have a bit more confidence in DeMello after seeing the way Dylan has played with Pollock, which I don't think has been a considerable upgrade over DeMello, especially when you consider what DeMello brings and at the price that he brings it versus what you have to pay to have Pollock on this team. That's something that could definitely be debated. Gen X pointing out that PDB would challenge hot dogs being sausages. No, PDB would challenge a sandwich being a sandwich. He would call a sandwich a hot dog.
Oh no! Don't start that one again.
We're not going there. That was it. That was all it was.
I'm going to post this up because this is what Chris wanted to have me put up. This is Rule 49.2, Section 4 in goals. A goal will be allowed when the puck enters the goal after deflecting off an attacking player's skate or deflects off while he is in the process of stopping. I was iffy about this kicking motion before already, and this right here changes my whole course of everything. Because when I first saw it, I thought, okay, I could see where they can reverse this call because he's getting his leg out, it deflects off, it looks like he's angling it. But the rule changed last season where you can angle your foot and it's not considered a distinct kicking motion.
Yeah, you make it look like you're showing the logo of the side of your skate to the goalie. You're not kicking it in. You're just changing the angle. And even Bakes and Randy were saying that it actually looked like it went more off of his shin than his actual foot or anything like that. So yeah, with that, I kind of have an issue with that. But yeah, Steph Curry could hit a 3 from half court, and DeBoer would challenge whether his foot was on the line, whether he was outside of the arc or not.
We might have to start a hashtag PDB challenges blank.
I like it. He would challenge whether Ian should have a wrestling name or not. That's the problem.
Bad news. Los Angeles has just tied it up. Andre Kopitar with his 23rd of the year at 1550, and it's 3-3 Rangers and Kings.
Rangers are challenging the Kings' goal.
DeBoer wishes he could challenge the Kings' goal.
Yeah, it just said no. The Rangers just tweeted out that they're challenging. The goal's being challenged.
Here I am thinking you're joking, but
no, I'm just looking. Yeah, let's see. Well, I don't know. Now LA's tweeting out that it's tie. But hold on. But the mayor is saying wait for it. So I guess we'll imagine, and everybody's saying the goal counted. God damn it, son of a bitch. For those of you wondering, you're like, I thought there were 3 people on tonight. Chris, playing the part of Eric's internet connection will be Chris's internet connection for this evening. So we've lost Chris. So let's just go ahead.
I was gonna say, my connection hasn't been that bad the last few weeks, has it? I think I've only had like one bad.
Hasn't been too bad. No, it's been okay.
So we're doing. I'm doing better.
Clearly, you've bequeathed
I've
it
upgraded
to
to
Chris.
I've upgraded to like maybe DSL like coverage connection, right?
You've bequeathed your connection to Chris apparently. And coming in from our buddy Pashelka, no concrete update from DeBoer regarding Vlasic or Nieto. We'll see how they feel tomorrow.
That's scary.
Yeah.
That's very scary.
That does
that's the case.
suck. Well, I felt like the first period. I mean, what was it? The Sharks only had like 4 shots on goal in the first period. I mean, it was just kind of just you expected a little bit more. Then the second period, they came out and they were gangbusters and they were trying to run away with it. And Smith kind of stood on his head. I'm telling you, I'd really like to see the second power play unit get more time. They consistently seem to get better looks than now. I don't know if it's because they have a little more creativity. They're not so set in their ways as the top unit. I don't know if it's because they're facing lower PKers, but either way, I just feel like they're showing more creativity. Maybe there's not much of a book on them yet. So you have those long stretches where there were like no shots on goal or anything. It was, I don't know, it was just a weird game to me. But as Chris pointed out, the wrong team won tonight. That was just, or at the very least, the Sharks should bare minimum get a charity point out of this. So
yeah, but at the same time, this is Arizona. They seem to have more jump against Boston and Washington. And I hate to mention it that they're playing down to their opponent's level, and I know some people hate that analogy, but they played down to their opponent's level. I mean, this is where it's like March and April is where you need to send a message out to teams to not mess with you guys, and this just doesn't help. This doesn't help at all. Even if a 2-1 goal by the Coyotes happened in the second period with 6 minutes to go in the period, just to see how essentially demoralized things on top of Hurdle, on top of Tierney's no goal, on top of Zubrus's no goal.
And ladies and gentlemen, now pinch hitting for Chris JWS, it's the Angry Canadian.
When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change tune-up and repair experts.
Word. Can't sleep.
Well, bring it on, man. Let's hear you talk about tonight's game, bro.
I mean, yeah, you guys hit it on the head for the most part. Everything.
Oh, okay. Well, then thanks for coming.
All right. Yeah, thanks for calling. Look, I mean, my big thing is this Pete DeBoer nonsense. Like, could you not have used that, that wasted challenge on that Shane Doan goal? Probably.
Mm-hmm. Just a bit.
So, yeah, it's that's the big thing is that you can question the iffy goals and just use it as an extended timeout, but
it was the first fucking period.
Exactly. That's the thing that really gets me. If you want to try to make something happen and get roll the dice with 4 minutes left in the third, sure. But at that, I mean, come on. And Chris saying that the Sharks didn't play to their opponent's level. They outplayed them, but got Mike Smithed and out-reffed. I think
there's an element of truth to that for sure.
Yeah, I give a little bit of truth for that. But I still want to know where the Sharks were in the first period. 4 shots on goal.
They didn't adjust well to the Sharks. The Sharks did adjust well to the Coyotes in the first period. That's part of the problem. I mean, they came out, but I mean the second when you look at the numbers from the second and third period, it looks, the numbers at least would dictate that the Sharks outplayed the Coyotes by a pretty significant margin. But when you're fighting with goals being called back, and again, I don't have a problem with the coach's challenge that the Devils took. That's not a goal. It's offside. I'm fine with that. That kicking one though, I mean, that was just stupid. what is he supposed to do in that situation? I mean, obviously he's not supposed to. Should he have just plowed through Mike Smith, and then that would obviously be called back for goaltender interference? Like, I don't know what Chris Tierney is supposed to do in that situation and still be, capable of making a good save.
Jesus Christ, everybody jumping in tonight. What the
That's all right.
fuck?
I'm gonna let Gentry go.
You guys got nothing better to do tonight? What's going on?
Well, I apparently was asked, so.
And then I just do whatever the hell I want.
You know what it is? See, now Chris's ego just inflated here. He's like, it takes two guys to replace me, motherfucker.
We take our analysis to the next level.
I'll let Gentry come in here because he was asked to come in, and I didn't see Gentry respond right away, so I'm like, whatever, I'm awake. But no, definitely I'll let Gentry take it from here. Have a good one, gentlemen.
Ian, thank you for coming in.
Yeah,
Have a good night. Feel better.
Thanks.
Awesome. Gentry, good evening to you, sir. We've kind of all had our little rants so far tonight. We'll let you get your 2 cents in, as there's 3.8 seconds left in regulation in LA, and it's tied. So it looks like LA's gonna get a point out of this at least.
So the Rangers are pulling their best impression of the Sharks, blowing a 2-goal lead all of a sudden? Wow.
No, you actually have the Rangers doing their impression of the entire Vancouver Canucks season. They know how to blow a lead in the third.
That's true.
No, I think the thing that pissed me off about tonight's game was not only was the officiating and the goals being waved off and stuff like that, but the Sharks in general just lacked any sense of fucking urgency, and it was irritating to watch on so many levels because you're like sitting there like, come on, keep pace, pump up the volume, get into it, and what do? Man,
They're pretty fucking urgent in the second, dude.
In the second, yeah, but
it's a 60-minute game, not a 20-minute game.
No, I completely agree with you. I think four shots on goal in the first period is ridiculous, but we've seen this from this team before, where they might have a half-assed first period, then they bring it on and they get better as the game progresses. They clearly got better going into the second, and in the third, it was just, we can sit here and talk about the officials. We can talk about shitty Arizona ice. We can talk about all the usual suspects and cliche excuses. But the bottom line is, this is a game, and I hate to say it, at the very least, that the refs took away 1 point from the Sharks. I mean, that Tierney thing, that's a thing that just is sticking out for me. It's like the hurdle calling the boarding on hurdle at the end of the game. I've seen that go both ways. They call it a penalty in that situation where you're pulling the goalie or whatever. You don't see that called very often. But the Tierney thing, you almost never. I mean,
that was bullcrap.
You see that go that way twice a season. So that's the one I have a problem with.
Hey, NHL, what fucking qualifies as a distinct kicking motion? For me, a distinct kicking motion is like when you're playing kickball and you go to kick it.
Right.
Trying to stop as you're going to the net and the puck hits your skate and then goes in. How the fuck is that a distinct kicking motion?
And again, I'm going to throw this up one more time. Rule 49.2, Section 4. A goal will be allowed when the puck enters the goal after deflecting off an attacking player's skate or deflects off while he is in the process of stopping.
That's
obviously he was stopping.
Happened.
Yeah, it's obvious that he was trying to stop. He wasn't trying to kick it. If he was, then he should join Chris Wondolowski with the Earthquakes this weekend.
But no, but because it's the damn Sharks, they're going to call it against us because, you know what? Fuck San Jose. This is like, we keep saying that it's like we don't try to play the conspiracy theory, on Pucknology, but you look at shit like this and you're like, oh, well, it's like, at what point do you see that there's any way that they don't fucking hate us?
Now, let me put this out to you guys. Is there something good that you could take out of this tonight? Because
Nothing.
I just didn't see much that you could say.
Jones should
well,
have
at least.
that last goal should have not had gone in. Jones should have sealed that corner like he should have had that, you know. But then again, it reminds me of the overtime goal against in Colorado when it was one of those weird plays where the puck went off of Boyle's stick in Game 3 and it just slides past, Nabokov. Everybody blamed Boyle for it, but where the hell was Nabokov, sealing the boards or sealing that corner, the post? Sorry.
Yeah, no, and this I mentioned it earlier when we first came on. This is the second time Jones has let one of those in from behind the goal line.
Yeah.
So definitely something to consider, work on a little bit.
He's gonna get some rest. They'll likely practice tomorrow once they get back into San Jose tonight, and then they will have the game on Saturday at 1 p.m., which I believe we're already hearing that Reimer's going to start tomorrow. So
Tomorrow?
You mean
not
Saturday?
tomorrow. I mean Saturday. Saturday afternoon.
I'm like, wait, I don't think I can make it to the game if that's the case.
I'm jumping ahead because I got called into work today. I was supposed to work tomorrow, and so it's throwing me off right now. So forgive me that. Apparently, Joey Moore's saying that they have tomorrow off, according to Bishelka.
Of course they do, because they're going to be playing 3 and 4, and you got travel, so and you can't ever fit in a practice session between once March starts, no practice. We get New York at 1:00 on Saturday.
And guess what, guys? Kings just won in overtime.
Of course, and why wouldn't they? So Kings to pick up 2 points and increase the lead, and the Sharks had the perfect opportunity to at least keep pace with them and piss that away. So the division banner that we all love so much, a new one, is slowly drifting away. Best you can hope for is home in the first round.
Yay. Let's not hope for home in the first round, because look at our seemingly bad record at home. I'd rather have us be the wild card and then go out on the road. I'd rather have us face Chicago.
Well, Kerr's now even tweeting it out. It's like Pacific Division is just about officially out of the reach, with LA being 7 points ahead. But we move on. New York coming in Saturday at 1:00. Hopefully we can take them, because playing playing their third game out of 4 nights on the road on the opposite coast. Hopefully they come in a little weary and beaten up from just pissing away 2 points to LA tonight.
No, the Rangers will come in motivated. They'll start Ronta, and he'll have a 52-game, save shutout, because
they said the exact same thing about Washington. So I don't think that holds any water. Ian said Washington was going to come in pissed off, and we all saw what happened. What's the standings now, Eric?
All right, everything's updated now. The Kings. If the Sharks had pulled that one out in regulation, the Kings would have actually clinched a playoff spot with that win. Nonetheless, they're at 91, so the Sharks now sit 7 back with 12 to play and 1 head-to-head matchup. That's on the 28th, of course. Anaheim breathed a sighs of relief after their debacle against the Ducks, or after their debacle against the Rangers, I should say. They sit at 85. As for, and I've been asked a number of times on Twitter, how am I calculating the magic number? Well, right now,
science, bitch.
That's right. It's not really too much complicated math. Basically, you look at all the rest of the teams that are still in contention to overlap the Sharks, and for Calgary, they are at 65 with 12 games to play. Of course, 2 points for every game. So if they were to win out, it's 24. They're at 89. So they're down to 5. And staying in this race. Vancouver is at 13. They have 26 possible points. They can go to 92, so 93. So once the Sharks hit 93 points, Vancouver can't catch up to San Jose, especially since they don't have enough rows to tie them with. Arizona does have enough rows that they could come back and leapfrog San Jose, so you have to add a +1 to that. So 69 points they have a potential of 93, so 94 is the max that anybody can catch up to. So thus being the Sharks' magic number is 10. So there you have it.
Thank you, Professor.
You're welcome. But that's kind of quickly how you break it down. So the Sharks still have some work to do. They pretty much now won't be able to clinch by this weekend, but Anaheim and LA could. Back to you, Jay.
Well, rat bastards. You know, I was actually listening to Anaheim's postgame show last night. They're kind of worried, and they're actually a little bit worried about the Sharks simply because they don't have any more games versus each other. So you have that, it's schedule versus schedule, and they admitted that, you know, on paper the Sharks have, you know, once again, on paper, an easier walkway towards taking the second slot. We'll see how that one goes. So that's it. And so we got New York coming in. Chances are they're going to start Henrik, but if I remember correctly, there was a game that the Sharks knocked Henrik right the hell out and then retired literally their backup goaltender. So hopefully we show up well against the Rangers. And for those of you who aren't aware, because it seems like everybody is, if you hang around after the Rangers-Sharks game, you can hang out, and at 6 o'clock the Barracuda are playing a game, and they will be debuting the 4 goal songs that will be the option to be the new one. So I'm interested. I don't know if they're going to announce what the winning options are, because I believe today is the last day. It was only second round was only excuse me, it was only Wednesday through today, and maybe they'll tweet it out tomorrow before the CUDA game or during the CUDA game, whatever. We'll find out what the what the 4 options are. God help us. There is there seems to be some sort of grassroots push for this damn Whiskey Avengers song. Dude, I'm all for support local artists and shit like that, but dude, the song's got to sound better, man. It sounds like a bad surf song, and I just don't see 17,000 people waving their hands going, "This is Sharks territory, it's no. I don't see it. I like the idea. Mm-hmm. It's the execution that is lacking.
I'm right with you, Gentry. You were with me when we did the tour, and I kind of threw some ideas over at the vice president of marketing. Since you haven't been on since these second round of choices have been presented, what did you think of the 5 that are offered?
The new one.
I think it's 6.
Was it 6?
Yeah.
I mean, the only one that I kind of liked was the Metallica, but the thing about that, they chose the wrong Metallica song.
You think?
Yeah, that song is not really goal song celebration. If anything, it should have been Hit the Lights, but because it would have made sense, because when you score a goal, the goal light comes on, so that would have made sense. But out of all of them, I have to go with, Get Ready for This. That was my favorite one because it actually has some historical significance to the Sharks. But this is Sharks territory. That one's on par with the LMFAO remix, in my opinion.
Yeah, I pretty much felt the same way about that. But like I said, there's a contingency that is trying to drive that one home. It wouldn't surprise me in the least if 2 out of these 3 choices make it out of the second round. Whiskey Avengers, 2 Unlimited, and AC/DC's TNT. Those seem, from what I've seen, those seem to be the most popular choices.
Well, here's the thing. And first off, let me just
Now, if
correct
Whiskey
ourselves.
Avengers wins it, how long is it before they decide to change the goal song again?
Oh, they'll do it in the off season.
Yeah.
Or what they'll do, it'll fail so fucking miserably that by the time the playoffs come in, they'll just they'll just throw everything out the fucking window with the kitchen sink and go back to Gary Glitter for the playoffs and then switch it.
Now let me clear up a few things here. The second round, which it determines who goes on to round 3 with Shout and In Talking About Love, ends tomorrow at 5. So if you haven't voted yet, you can go on to
This is the most
SJSharks.com.
important vote you will make this year.
Absolutely. I did mention on Teal Tinted Glasses that there has been support on this program for one of them. I won't mention what it is. Too Unlimited.
Too unlimited.
But-
Too unlimited.
Too Unlimited. And there might have been some historical reference to that or whatnot, but you know, at this point, it'll be interesting to see what it goes to. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm almost inclined and tinkering with the thought about going to the Barracuda game just to hear the options and how they're received in front of 400 people.
Yeah, I'm a little interested in that myself. Let me know if you decide to go. I'm probably going to miss most of the Rangers game on Saturday because I have to help a friend of mine move. But by the time that's done, I may be interested in hitting up the CUDA. It depends on how long that rolls. But yeah, I'd be interested. If not, our buddy at hockey jerk, so he's going to be at the CUDA game, so he can tweet it out to us and let us know what's going on. He also pointed out that we've talked about the Arizona game, and no one has mentioned that Ekman Larson didn't even play tonight.
You know?
Oh, trust me, I know.
Somebody has him on their fantasy team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, without Ekman Larson, and they still were prevailing. But the second I heard that Mike Smith was back, I already knew that they were that they had a shot, just because Mike Smith has been phenomenal against the Sharks.
Name a goalie that isn't phenomenal against the Sharks.
Well, I know.
That's a starter, not a backup. I mean, Rene tends to have our number. Smith is one of them. Jesus.
Ben Bishop.
Ben Scrivens. Yeah.
Oh, God.
The list goes on and
Oh.
on and on. But
Anthony Emmy.
that's next Saturday when Dallas comes in. The other one too, which is interesting. I don't know if anybody caught it as the final song came on for the Coyotes before the game ends. Coyotes played Gary Glitter.
Good. I didn't even hear it. Are you serious?
Yeah, they played Gary Glitter with the last stoppage before the game was over. I thought that was very interesting, and it's also at the Stadium Series alumni game in Colorado. The Avalanche used Gary Glitter for their goal song, which of course was the goal song for Colorado at the time. So very interesting to see, but
well, the whole thing too is that they're going to end up with, or they're narrowing it down to 4 choices. If no one's there to hear it on Saturday, will we actually have a new goal song? But the thing is, okay, so let me segue into this for a minute. My former BFF John Totoro was on with Dan Ruzanowski on KFox during the second intermission, and for the most part, it was what sounded to be like a 12-minute commercial to be a season ticket holder for the most part. Covered a little bit of about them bringing the CUDA in and what that's done to help them out. Talked about fixing the roof for SAP, which Eric has brought up before. Talking about fixing the ice, the machines that make sure we have good ice. Fixing that up. And then what season ticket holders get, and we've listened to the season ticket holder fans, and they want it more than to be just a transaction. And season ticket holders apparently the gist of it is that the season ticket holders want their heinies kissed a little bit more than what it's being kissed now. That's like kind of the way it comes off. Whereas if you are a season ticket holder, I'm sure you feel like for the last decade you've pretty much been taken for granted. So somewhere, hopefully, they meet in the middle. But he did mention that about the Barracuda game that they would be debuting the 4 songs and trying them out and seeing what it sounds like in a building. Well, hearing what a goal sounds like in a building with 400 people versus hearing what it sounds like in a building with 17,500 people, going to be quite different. And as we have stated too, maybe Let's Go actually has a longer shelf life if you could actually hear it. I've heard from several people that say, you know what, Let's Go, I like the song, you just can't, you can't hear it. And we all commented that it's like, man, it's kind of weird that last Saturday against Washington in a sold-out building, all of a sudden you could hear it pretty well on TV, which, as I speculated, said, well, I wonder if they made some changes when they brought in the organ, and now all of a sudden you can hear it a little bit better. But either way, that's pretty much what Totora discussed with Russo during the second intermission. I don't know. We'll see what happens. You know what I think you guys should do, and I'll talk. Like I said, I won't be on for the New York game. When you guys do the show on Saturday, I think we should do predictions. Which one you think wins? So we'll do power rankings later. We'll do it on Saturday.
Well, I'm kind of biased towards one. So.
Oh, no. We know what you're biased towards. I'm saying what you think actually wins. That's all.
I'm biased towards one.
Me too, brother.
Yeah, I know. And I think it's a consensus all around with Gentry.
And I only bring up the CUDA attendance because Purdy tweeted out a picture from the game last night, and oh my God, I can't believe how empty it was. I mean, I've had parties bigger than that.
Let's segue into this, guys, and Gentry, I'll start with you. They really haven't marketed the Barracuda at all.
Barely.
Yeah,
They barely marketed the Barracuda.
Well, how can you when you're wasting all your time trying to suck up and get Sark season ticket holders back in the building?
Or if your biggest promotion is select a new goal song.
No, you guys.
And remember, they're having another open house at the end of the month too to try to drive sales for the Sharks tickets again.
Which I still think they should make an open house and let you watch the game from in the building like they used to in the past. My point is this, is that you got to get people talking about the Barracuda. You also have to get people talking about the Sharks, because playing, just using a sheet of ice, I think, like, what was it, Landy who said it on Twitter the other night, you might as well have them play at Sharks ice. You're going to have better ice, and you can, fill up the place. Because at this point, playing, I mean, how demoralizing is it to play in front of, maybe 1,000 people, and who knows how many there come. I mean, it's great. Don't get me wrong. It's great to have the minor league team local. You can look at the future Sharks and how their development's going to get destroyed by Roy Sommer. But that's beside the point. I just think that the marketing should be a little bit better for the Barracuda. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Sharks have play a role because they haven't been selling out as much this year. But I mean, Gentry, what do you think? If there was one thing, and I've been meaning to talk about this for a while now on the show, if there's one thing that the marketing gurus can do with the team, realistically, I should say, what do you think they can do?
What, with the Barracuda?
Yeah, because it just seems like
I mean,
they're missing an opportunity a little bit here.
They are. They're missing an opportunity because it's like here you have multiple options to go to, to see hockey in San Jose, And especially if they were to say, like, listen, it's cheaper to come to a Barracuda game than to a Sharks game. We understand that. They should just be open about it. Because as it stands right now, it's just like, and imagine if the Barracuda can make it into the playoffs. That would help drive sales a little bit because their inaugural season, they'd make it into the playoffs, and just imagine playoff hockey again at SAP Center. It would be electric.
Double
Yeah.
double whammy too, because it would be the first Calder Cup playoff game in the Shark Tank's history.
Yeah, I mean, why not promote the hell out of that? Because I'm pretty sure that, when the Sharks made the playoffs for the first time when they were at SAP Center, I mean, I bet that was huge as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, me and AJ can go on and on, forever about how
I don't know what.
whole
Here's the
place
thing.
About
I'm-
what? About what?
No, just how in '94 how the buzz around San Jose was.
Oh, it was electric.
We were just thinking the buzz for the Barracuda in the Calder Cup playoffs could kind of have that similar sense.
Oh no, not at all.
In some aspect, just because
It would definitely
Nope.
drive up ticket sales. It would also, I mean, it would help the Barracuda in a nutshell because, you go to those games and it's just like there is no atmosphere.
Dude. Okay, I live here. I live a stone's throw from the tank. The SaberCats won 3 championships. You don't see dick about. You don't see people wearing their jerseys. No. The San Jose Rhinos won a championship. I think I'm the only one who bought a jersey. It feels like. Exactly. San Jose Rhinos won a championship. Nothing. So no, they're the minor league team. It's all about the Sharks. That's going to be it. Has to be. It's all on them.
Yeah, maybe that's the case because the minor league team that there isn't much to embrace on it. I think the Earthquakes have done a great job especially since they moved into their new stadium and have really caught some attention. Gentry, go ahead.
Well, I think, there's really not, when you look at the Barracuda, another thing, there's not a lot to be excited about in terms of the roster or the prospects that, that are on that team. Goldobin's been good, but he hasn't been like, oh, this guy is going to be something special when he comes into the league. It's been mostly, it's like, oh, look, this is Roy Sumner, screwing up the development of more players. And then you have, I think I'm going to be more excited for the Barracuda, maybe next season when you have the other guys coming up, when you have, Chartier and LeBlanc and Meyer and Jeremy Wall. When you have those guys coming up and you see how they're lighting the lamp in the minors, and then, potentially, hopefully, we're going to get a new coach for the Barracuda who's not going to fuck up their development.
I'm just saying, dude. Once again, stone's throw away from the tank is Municipal Stadium. We've seen Buster Posey come out of there. Madison Bumgarner. I mean, we saw Sandoval there a couple times. We've seen guys coming up on rehab assignments through there. There's still next to nothing in the way of electricity or a huge fan base getting behind the San Jose Giants. It's all about the Sharks, and it's because, for the most part, it's the first pro franchise that the city has ever had. So that's why there was so much electricity. Plus, you also have to throw on top of it is that in 91, 92, but let's be honest, 93, 94, when they played their first season here, you had sections of people. Anytime the puck was within 80 feet of the net, shoot, because people didn't understand the game. And now, 25 years later, San Jose fans are a bit more educated about things. They know a little bit more, and that's, the electricity's kind of gone away because before they were just so happy to have a team, and now it's like, no, we kind of know what's going on now. So, yeah, the minor league thing, that's great. Hey, you know what, dude? I've got a buddy who's gone to 10 games this year because he has kids, and it's a cheap, fun option. Family? Yeah, market the shit out of it to families.
Well, but here's the other thing too, and mind you, the Sharks have the family 4-pack, but I almost wonder if they're using the Barracuda as a cheap alternative for the families and then making the Sharks a little bit higher priced because it's the premium ticket.
Well, if that's the case, they're stupid because, if you're trying to drive revenues, and I mean, as much as I've gone to maybe two Barracuda games this entire season, and I've gone to way more Sharks games because for the most part, I like the product on the ice for the Sharks than I do for the Barracuda because it's like I've seen one exciting Barracuda game, and it was like a double header, and Julius Bergman or whatever scored with like less than a minute remaining, to win the game, and I was like, oh cool, my first Barracuda win, and I went to the first Barracuda game of this of at SAP Center.
Mm-hmm.
And there was not a buzz about it. It was, you got there and it was very like lacking of any type of excitement. Nobody.
Oh no, there was a buzz. I was there. There was a buzz there. Everybody was excited to go to the game the next night, which was the Sharks home opener. That's what the buzz was about. So that was my point. I mean, and I'll still go. Like I said, it's not personal. It is not personal. But I'll tell you one of the things that killed it for me when it comes to the CUDA is, I don't have kids. So the constant, marketing, whether it's the Check a Puck or the Simba Cam, and the thing that really makes it annoying for me are the guy and the girl that have the wireless microphones that are constantly jumping around and hooping and hollering and trying to get people excited. That's, when you need to keep doing that, like I've been to I've been to a few nightclubs where you have a DJ like talking within every 3 songs, you guys having a good time? Who's getting drunk out here? But constantly talking and try to hype them up, and it's like, if that's what you need to do, then what you're doing sucks. If you can't generate, the natural energy from what you're promoting, to have somebody sit there and go, you guys having a good time? It's fucking annoying, man. Stop it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I
don't even remember the Bulls having to do that, and that was at the Cow Palace.
Exactly. And I remember the Cow Palace being fuller for Bulls games.
It was fuller, and there was actually it was a nice, for as crappy as the Cow Palace was, there was
such a shithole. Yeah, there is. It had that old-timey barn because it's such a shithole.
Yeah, it was
our shithole.
But there was an atmosphere, there was a history there, and the games that I went to, they were exciting, and the Bulls put on a good show. It just seems like with the Barracuda, it's just like, what you're seeing is like, oh well, this is.
See, that's the whole thing. I don't know if this is the point you were trying to make, but this is what I was kind of glomming from it, was the fact that when I went to the Cow Palace to see Bulls games, I didn't feel like I was, I don't know what the exact terminology is, but I wasn't being talked down to per se. It wasn't being thrown at you like, oh my god, this is so great for kids and families and blah blah blah, where they almost treat it like it's the fucking ice capades. For Bulls games, it just seemed like, hey, I'm at a hockey game that's just in a smaller market. It's a minor league team, but that's the only difference. We're not going to inundate you with all the family bullshit and all the crap. And maybe that also has to do with the fact that it was being played in that 80-year-old barn, but that actually kind of brought a little bit of, that kind of made it cool.
Yeah, and when I went to and going to the Cow Palace for the Bulls games, it was like a lot of college students were going because it was an affordable thing to do. I mean, you could take BART, you got off at BART, and then you just take it to the train to the Cow Palace, and it's like, it was a good time. And I mean, I know it was the ECHL, whatever, not that big of a deal, but if they were just kind of tackled that, but for the Barracuda, just like, listen, you have San Jose State stone's throw away from SAP. Come on, market to them, because the games would end. You can have Friday night games. The games would end at around 10, and then they can go bar hopping afterwards. Like, if that should be your market right then and there.
Yeah, and, Chris is on Twitter making some points saying that the Bulls games had half the attendance of CUDA games. I don't know what games he went to. I don't know what games. I know the games that I went to. I went to the opener for the Bulls, and it wasn't packed, but it was pretty
But
full. I'd say it was.
it was full.
Yeah, I'd say it was about maybe 75% full. And I was at the CUDA game, and that felt like it was maybe 50% full. Now, granted, we also have to take into account that the CUDA black out a large portion of the upper bowl seats, which makes it seem even emptier, you know?
Yeah.
So when I'm sure that has a psychological aspect to it, but I don't know. I just felt like I said, it came down to the point of, it seems as though the presentation that the Barracuda are bringing is kind of like training wheels for fans, and the Bulls were not that. So
No, it was I like that in your face kind of hockey mode, how they how they described it. It was just like, we're at the Cow Palace, we know we're in a shitty place, but we're going to at least put on an entertaining game for you, even if we lose and whatnot. But the games I went to, they won steadily, they won.
yeah.
That was the only team that I've ever seen 2 games of that they won both of their games, so I'm 2-0 with the Bulls. So yeah, I miss them.
Wait a minute. They lost the home opener, bro.
I didn't go to the home opener.
Oh, you were talking about the CUDA. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Never mind. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Gotcha. I confused you going to the opener, but okay.
I think we need to do a history lesson, and who knows if Chris is actually being sarcastic or not, but he was asking WTF is the San Jose Rhinos. The Rhinos have the distinction of being the team that gave city of San Jose its first professional championship. The Rhinos were a team in the league known as Roller Hockey International when the craze of rollerblades and roller hockey were reigning supreme. I think they came in 1994 after the Sharks' miracle run and won the championship in '95.
Yeah, Sharks second. Yeah.
Yeah, beating the Montreal Roadrunners in the championship series.
I swear to God, dude, I still have his shirt in my closet. I'll wear it. I'll wear it the next show.
If the Sharks played with rollerblades, we'd have a chance.
Maybe. But hold on, I want to address Chivo's question real fast because I don't know if he's being a smart ass or not. He's saying, LOL, 50% of 17,500 is more than 75% of what the Cow Palace holds. That is correct. However, 17,500 seats are not available to purchase for a Barracuda game. I just said they black out more than half of the upper deck. So I think the actual amount of tickets they can sell for a CUDA game is somewhere in the neighborhood of about 10.5.
Yeah.
So shove it up your ass, chest. Go get your Star Wars DVD and leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah, technically speaking, I think the Cow Palace holds about 10.8, but even then.
But they own that fact that it's like we're the Bulls, and they'd have big banners for the Bulls everywhere. Like it was, God, it was just like that was.
I think there were definitely more commercials.
Oh, there was a lot more commercials. They promoted
especially on radio. They were all over radio. But you know what though? Correct me if I'm wrong. KNBR had a piece of that.
Yeah, they wouldn't broadcast the games on the radio, but they had it on their website. It was how the Bulls games were on.
But I do remember hearing an awful lot of commercials on KNBR during that time, and they were giving away tickets a lot. So yeah, I remember that. And this makes for a perfect transition. I just don't know if I want to fucking do it.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Let's put it this way, AJ. I'll put you on mute if you get a little too out of control.
All right. And Chris pointing out the Bulls were a standalone entity. Obviously the Sharks have their parents right there in the same building, so the Bulls did have to work a lot harder to sell. So anyway, all right, talking about KNBR, let's just get into something that was brought to my attention 2 nights ago. As you know, I wasn't on the show 2 nights ago. I was busy with other shit. And let's just say it was brought to my attention that one of the people that used to be one of our very first most loyal Sharks fan, well, actually, I think more of a Kings fan, but follows the Sharks, but was very interactive with us early on with the Twitter and watching the shows.
And let's be certain, we still love her to death and everything.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this has nothing to do with her per se. No. Lovely person, has never been anything but cool as shit on the chat and on the Twitter. Very cool person. But it was brought to my attention that the FM sports station that is here. Now, I have to, like I said, this was brought to my attention. I haven't listened to this station in like 9 months. It's just, I got tired of asking for Sharks talk and being denied. Thus, that's why we have this now, Screw all the other media outlets that don't want to do Sharks talk. We'll do it, it's the whole thing of it. You don't want to do it? Fuck you, Joe Boo. I do it myself. So, anyway, it was brought to my attention that the girl called in to the evening show after the game to have their quote-unquote Sharks post-game show. And I'm now, like I said, I don't know if any of you actually listen to this and can say confirm or deny, but I was told that it was basically that they were kind of like mocking the Sharks and having this LA Kings fan on to talk about what happened in the Sharks game, and they were completely dismissive about it, and were just kind of patronizing this girl that's calling in who is clearly a big hockey fan and would love to hear them discuss the Sharks, but of course they never do. I don't know. I would just love to know more about it, but I just can't bring myself to listen to that shit. So if anybody knows, go ahead and tweet me if you got any funny stories about it, if you thought there was any comments. But I just think it reeks of just shitty fucking service to Bay Area fans that KNBR is the Warriors' flagship station. Yet, but 95.7 apparently has a post-game show for every fucking Warriors game, despite not being the flagship. And the Sharks, their sister station is this FM sports station. Can't get, and their idea of a post-game show is having one fan call in. So it's just a sad state of affairs. And if anything, if the people, I know you had mentioned before that the Sharks, you'd said that you'd spoken to somebody and that they are aware of this program. Yes. You know what, Sharks, do us a favor. If you're familiar with the guys who do like Ted Ramey, there's one or two guys that they actually buy time, where they go on for like 15 minutes to talk to Ted Ramey about what picks you should take in that weekend's football pool and all that shit. Do the same thing. Just buy time once a week to talk to Ted Ramey or to talk to Damon Bruce or whatever, to have a weekly segment just to do it just to get it out there. Just do something with that. If they're not going to do it, force their hand. Anyway, I'm done. I'm so tired of them being thought of as just less than, when there's clearly a passionate fan base, and I'm so tired of the excuse of, well, we don't talk Sharks because no one calls in. Well, no one calls in because you don't talk it. You've made it definitely clear you don't care about it. But my point of that is, back in the day, and I know Eric remembers this. Back when KARA on AM was
5.7.
Yeah, when they were the flagship. Oh no, that was an FM station. But then when they were when KARA was the flagship, they used to have a post-game show after every single game. I remember, what was her name? Elsie was a regular caller, but they never. That show would go on for 90 minutes. They never lacked callers ever that I ever heard. They always had a stream of callers. So to say that there's not out there is a cop-out, it's bullshit, and it's just that, no, we want to hang from the Warriors' nuts, and that's all it is.
See, the other thing, too, is where that's where kind of K-Fox comes into play. It wasn't up until this season that they were doing the pregame show for all
For
82
all,
games.
for all the games, because it used to be like the weekend you didn't get a pregame, right?
Or no, during the weekdays, especially with
Jesus
the East
Christ.
Coast.
Okay.
But let's put it this way: we've come a long way, and AJ, you know this from when KICU would show a 4:30 regular start time, and KICU would begin the game at 6 p.m. on tape
Yep.
delay. I mean, it's
And that's the fact. Why not KFox? Why not
it's
KFox? That doesn't even have to be 95.7.
well,
Get KFox on there.
well, yeah, you use KFox because you have the nice transition, or you have Ruzanowski say on our sister station or whatnot. Let me be honest here. It's a step in the right direction. It's absolutely a step in the right direction with what the game is doing. I think it could be done a little bit better. Sure, sure. I mean, we're not saying just hire us to do it because you know how many times we have to have the bleep button ready to go,
No,
especially
no,
for
no.
AJ over there.
No. We've all proven that
But
when we've guested on TDG, we've all proven that we can rein it in. But
yeah,
it's
Except for me.
yeah, it's a step in the right direction, which is good. Yeah, except for Gentry. Gentry is still
I've never been
vote.
asked.
well,
Yeah.
either way, it comes down to and Gen X has pointed it out too. Radio, it's a dying medium anyway for the most part. So if let's be honest, maybe if Twitter and Facebook and all this social activity shit didn't exist, maybe they would have some sort of interaction for the fans to call in and get information, but they can disseminate everything through Twitter and Facebook and social media now. So this is, the new normal. Pucknology After Dark is the new post-game show, and I'm going to call it the unofficial official Sharks post-game show from here on in because, like I said, like Joe Boo, man, you're not going to do it? Fuck it, I'm going to do it.
And with that, I think we kind of driven that into.
Sorry to go on the little Eric Landy on NBC Sportsnet rant, but yeah, I just had to go over it just because I could. When somebody brought that up to me, I was just like, ugh. I mean, like I said, Jen, perfectly lovely person.
Great, and
yeah.
knows her stuff big time.
But it's
Absolutely.
just when you've got Matt Steinmetz on there or some other professional basketball guy who writes for it and lives it and has an amazing history with it. That's your go-to guy for the Warriors, but your go-to for a quote-unquote Sharks post game is an LA Kings fan? Really? Just saying.
With that, we go to Saturday for the Rangers. We already kind of touched up on it. 1 p.m. start. It's the first of back-to-back Saturday 1 p.m. starts.
Hey, Chris, what's our schedule on matinee games? Or, I mean, what's our win-loss record on matinee games versus starting goaltenders after daylight savings time is kicked in? He loves those.
Even SAP doesn't have those stats. Come on. I think we've kind of covered everything. Gentry, will go with final thoughts with you.
Of the game tonight, or just everything in general?
Everything in general.
Well, I started my new job today, and that was fun.
Congratulations.
Yeah, you sound absolutely ecstatic about it.
Well, I work with children, so, I mean, it's very tiresome. There was a lot of "it's not a tumor" lines going through my head, but it was
not
fun.
a far difference from doing this.
Yeah, except you guys are bigger children.
Who's your daddy, and what does he do?
But I mean, the game in general. I mean, that pissed me off, and then of course the Kings winning it tonight, that was pissing me off. But at the end of it, I'm like, I can't, like, after a while of composing myself, I look at this season compared to last season and where this team was at when they were grasping at straws, but in this year we're in a better position. We're only 10 points out of clinching, which is a good thing. it's cool to feel excited again, but at the end of the day, you're kind of like, can this team really go deep, or is it gonna take like somebody surprising us and somebody stepping up? And honestly, if we do when we do make the playoffs, I think that the biggest surprise for us going into it will be Donskoy. The guy has shown up every single night. When he gets into the offensive zone, he just makes magic happen. So I'm so looking forward to seeing how he develops in the playoffs and how he goes in the next season, because I feel like we have yet to see the full ceiling of Donskoy. So, I've been on that since preseason, and I feel like he should have been on that top line still, but he's found a great chemistry with Logan, and I think with Nieto out, you're gonna bring in who? You're gonna bring in Wingles, who's ready to go. Maybe that's the type of shot in the arm that we need.
Yeah,
So, and nobody was afraid of us when, like with the lineup. I mean, Zubris is that type of guy where it's like, okay, he's a good player, but he's not going to be the physical type. I think that Wingles brings hits. It kind of makes me already miss Mike Brown.
holy, whoa. I'm agree with you. I would assume that we're going to see um, Wingles in the next game, mainly because we don't know what Nieto's is dealing with, and maybe it's nice. Maybe it'd be a good time to
See how he is.
see how he is and see if he's ready to go for the playoffs. AJ, your final thoughts?
Yeah. Real quick, just something that came in. Shall we say on the down low? I'm not going to throw who told me this under the bus, but attendance has been so bad for the Barracuda that starting in January they started giving out part-time employees 4 free tickets to all remaining home games. So they're clearly trying to drive attendance. So I hope it works out, and you got to start somewhere. So hopefully the attendance just keeps going up, and a crowd draws a crowd. So and of course winning helps too.
Winning helps, and making it to the Calder Cup playoffs. I mean, that would be a nice marketing boost.
Yeah,
Having 2 teams in the playoffs at the same time, that would be nice. So.
Could be. For the Sharks, now with, what is it? Did you say 13 left?
12 left.
12 left. 12 left. It really, in hindsight, it really goes to show just how important the home record was this year. They, get a couple of games above 500, and they're neck and neck with LA. So that home record, but we're all looking towards the playoffs. But bottom line is, like, the last 5 winners of the Stanley Cup were like ranked 1 or 2 in save percentage. The Sharks are ranked like 15th right now. They're basically at the bottom of every playoff team. So while they may get past the first round, and it could be a really fun series, at this point I can't see them going farther than the second. But then again, that's probably all that needs to happen for everybody to keep their jobs for one more year, and to let's see what the season's like when you have a full season with an organ, and you have a full season with a new goal song, and oh, guess what? We're bringing the band back again, by the way. Tatora brought that up, that there's going to be a couple more games before the end of the season where they're bringing the live band in, because that went over so well the last time.
Yep. All right, with that, Sharks lose a rough one, 3-1 to the Arizona Coyotes. They sit 7 points behind LA with 12 games to go. They come back Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. against the New York Rangers. Some form of the After Dark group will be here after the game to talk about that, along with yours truly and Gentry with a live report from the game as we head to the Brits, so I can pay off Gentry and I's bet. Damn it.
Season sweep.
Got to get off on that Boyle crush.
Hey,
speaking of which,
Oh, was I
Gentry,
not muted? I'm sorry.
speaking of which, Gentry, which boiled jersey are you going with on Saturday?
that's a good question, and I will reveal that on Saturday.
And with that, until Saturday, trying to cue Chris. Hey, Chris, get ready to hit the end button. Until Saturday, keep it real, keep it fresh, keep it real fresh. Good night.
He should have muted you at the end. That would have been